Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning for this event. Before the signing, we'll have some comments from His Excellency to start things off.
Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. This year's Farnborough Air Show is indeed historic for Qatar Airways. Not only do we have 3 aircraft on static display, but we today also have to make a significant announcement. We announce a further investment in our young and modern fleet. 8 months ago at the Dubai Air Show, Qatar Airways signed a letter of intent to purchase 50 Boeing 777X aircraft. Today, we take this announcement one step further. Qatar Airways has now finalized the order for 50 Boeing 777Xs with the signature of a purchase agreement, and we have also now increasing the order to include an additional 50 777X purchase rights. This totals an order for 100 of the Boeing 777X, which will become the backbone of Qatar Airways fleet and represents the largest aircraft order in our history for a single aircraft type with a value of $40 billion US. Our relationship with Boeing 777 goes back a number of years. The 777s we currently have form the backbone of our fleet, and it is truly an aircraft that is loved by our passengers, and I'm sure you'll agree. This is why we give this aircraft a vote of confidence, and we wish to expand the presence of Boeing 777 family in the Qatar Airways fleet. But Qatar Airways has not stopped there. In order to support the continued growth of our cargo business, Qatar Airways has also signed a letter of intent to purchase an additional 4 firm and 4 option Boeing 777 freighters. The Boeing 777 freighter represents the core of our long-haul cargo business, and we are very pleased to further expand this fleet in order to meet the demands of our rising customers. It has been a year of many new beginnings for Qatar Airways. The opening of our new hub and home at Hamad International Airport, as well as further aircraft orders and the delivery of new aeroplanes into our fleet. Our relationship with Boeing will continue to grow and develop as we continue to invest in the equipment that we value and trust in, enabling Qatar Airways to deliver the signature 5-star service to our passengers with these fine Boeing-built aeroplanes. Thank you.
Okay, Ray.
Well, first of all, thank you and welcome everyone. I want to acknowledge our partner, GE Engines, Bill Fitzgerald here, representing GE Engines. Without them, obviously we wouldn't be able to get off the ground. So I want to thank you, Bill, for all your support and everything that we've done. Akbar, this is just truly an honor for us. It seems like a long time ago that we were at the Dubai Air Show when we announced your intent, and to be here today is just truly a great honor for all of the men and women of the Boeing company to be able to provide you with this fabulous machine that's going to do amazing things for you. But more importantly, for us to be a partner with Qatar Airways and with you personally is, I think, what's more important for all of us. You are one of the fastest growing and clearly one of the truly terrific airlines in the world. And for us to be part of that is just fantastic. You run an amazing airline. What you've done at the airport is truly remarkable, and what you're doing with your airline is equally remarkable. So with that, I would just like to say how much we appreciate not only your confidence, but your partnership, your friendship, and how we move together in a way to really change the world. So thank you, Akbar.
Okay, so let's sign the documents.
other big aircraft. What does this order mean for your expansion and plans for the 380 fleet at Qatar Airways, please?
I'm sure you have been reading in the daily news by Flight Global about the issues on the A380. We are a very demanding customer, and we only accept airplanes when it is absolutely meeting our standards. We have an order for 13 of the 380s, and of which 3 is options and the 10 is firm. And we intend to take the 10 that we have, but only if all our specifications and requirements and standards are met.
Okay, Tim?
As simple as that.
Tim? Tim?
Tim Hickey from Reuters. You indicated yesterday you were in no hurry to sign this agreement, and we understand there had been some discussion about guarantees and so forth. What was GE in particular, or Boeing, able to do to persuade you to sign it?
Well, I told you I was not in a hurry to sign any contract, is to put a bit of suspense in your mind. Because if I told you that I was ready, then I would have already let you to report this before we sign.
Well, were you ready?
Yes, we were ready yesterday. But, you know, I don't like to disclose things that is in my pocket before I'm ready to put it on the table.
I will attest to that.
But you were talking about GE. This is why you can see Mr. Fitzgerald is a little bit more tanned than he was yesterday.
No, but this has been a process that's been going on for some time. So, these things all take time, particularly with the new aircraft and a new engine and those kinds of things. There's a lot of things that go into this. And as always, we want to make it absolutely perfect. And so we know exactly what we're going to deliver and how we're going to deliver it.
Qatar Airways has a fine team of negotiators, and we always want to make sure that we do everything right so that both parties are absolutely convinced that there is no ambiguities, and therefore things with Qatar Airways takes longer than it would take with some other people, but once we put our signature on the paper, then we are absolutely committed.
Let's go over here to Julie.
Hi, Julie Johnson with Bloomberg. The 50 commitments for the 777-9X, when would the deliveries commence?
Well, the deliveries will commence as soon as the aircraft has started to fly with us, and then we will start firming up those commitments. We will convert those purchase rights into options, whereby then we will have firm delivery dates for those additional airplanes. I know that people always say that in air shows, aircraft manufacturers always like to make big orders, but with Qatar Airways, Boeing knows that we are very serious, that every single purchase rights that we had done in the past were exercised. So we are very, very committed to the numbers of airplanes that we signed for.
The delivery stream will start in 2020, though.
The firm aircraft delivery stream will start from 2020. We will be one of the first recipients of this type of airplane.
Will you be a launch customer?
Yes.
Where we are a launch customer.
Yes.
I think you forgot.
Yes.
Emirates and Qatar Airways together
Yeah.
made history that two big competitors sat on the same table and negotiate an aircraft deal together. So it is a win-win for both us and Boeing.
We'll go over here to Karen and then Sebastian. Karen, go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. Armack. So what happened to, you've doubled the order, so can you talk a little bit about, what changed, why you now want...
What changed is the confidence in Boeing we have to be able to make absolute top-class airplanes. In addition to this, they have a track record of what they have done with the 777-300ER aircraft. It exceeded all its performance guarantees and expectations with the customers, and we have confidence that the 777X family of airplane will do the same. And keep in mind that Qatar Airways is also in aircraft leasing business soon, So we would have not only aircraft requirement for our fleet, but it will also for our leasing arm.
Sebastian.
I'd like to add a little on your role as a launching customer for this airplane program, please. Could you kindly elaborate, do you have special Qatar Airways needs that went into the airplane design on request of Qatar Airways? Is there any special feature, any special
Yes.
capability?
Yes, yes, this always happens. Qatar Airways then becomes an important part of a team that is developing the requirements that a passenger has in an aeroplane. We have done this very well with the 787. We have also done this also with Boeing's competitor, the Airbus, on the 350. And we will certainly do this with 777X, because we will bring new ideas which then Boeing can incorporate in their aeroplane to make their aircraft even a finer flying machine.
John.
Mr. Lucker, comparing your initial commitment for 50 777Xs from Dubai to 100 you have now, when you initially signed for the 50, were there any conditions at that point about where you expected or wanted the aircraft to be built? At that time, there was not a decision made about where the aircraft would ultimately be.
Wherever the aircraft will be built by Boeing, we have confidence in the manufacturer.
And as far as the other aircraft you have on order, have you shifted any from between factories or made any specific requests?
No, we have aircraft that are built both at Victorville, and we have aircraft built at Seattle. Charleston, sorry.
Yeah.
Max.
Mr. Abakar, has your confidence in the 777X you mentioned just now led you to reevaluate your commitment to the A350, particularly the 1000 as you did with Emirates?
Sorry, can you repeat you?
Has it led you to reevaluate your commitment to the A350?
No, we not so, because we already have the A350 firm. Once we sign for something, we don't walk away, unless, of course, the manufacturer screw up with the performance of the airplane.
We'll go back here.
Mr. Al-Bakr, Devesh Agarwal from Bangalore Aviation. You mentioned that you did a joint negotiation with Emirates. Two questions basically. One is your economy class cabin configuration is very different than that of Emirates. Emirates believes in packing it in. You offer probably the most comfortable economy class in the Middle East. Are you contemplating going to a 10 abreast?
Yes, we will go 10 abreast, because Boeing is a very flexible aeroplane, and you can find space to put 10 abreast without impacting the customer's comfort. There are many ways to skin the cat, as you say. And we find that there is space, and with the new technology of seats, we can provide the same comfort and still go to 10 abreast.
And we've increased the space in the fuselage.
Exactly,
Yeah.
especially with the 777X family of aeroplane, there are additional rooms of how the side panels have been contoured and adjusted. So it gives you the same comfort, but with an additional row of additional seat in the same row.
And with regards to India, Qatar Airways has pretty much used up all its traffic rights. What are your plans to expand into the country?
I have great confidence in your new Prime Minister. He's a businessman. I'm sure he will not have a protectionist tendency. He will want to grow the aviation market in India. And India is one of the fastest growing aviation market, provided the operators do not interfere with their contacts in the government to impede the growth of the aviation industry in India. India has the potential that very few countries today in the world have. And the Prime Minister Modi's government and he himself will realize that aviation brings huge benefits to the country, creates jobs, creates prosperity for people, and at the same time puts India more strongly on the map of tourism, which at the moment is being ignored by the previous governments for vested interest.
Go here, Bree. Rory.
And I'm sure you are an Indian journalist. You know who I mean by vested interest.
Ray,
Yeah.
Rory here from the Wall Street Journal.
Yes.
Just wanted to pick up on the point about the joint negotiation. How did that dynamic play out with you guys? I mean, did that sort of lead to lower prices, having two of your biggest customers working together? And then for Akbar, does it help now that you're working with Emirates?
Why do you
now
want
that-
to know our secrets? These are secret.
Yeah.
We don't want to. We don't want to talk about it.
No,
I mean, and Akbar, does it help that you can negotiate with Emirates? If Boeing, if manufacturers are now getting into bed with engine makers more and more, and they're working exclusively together, does it help?
Well, Boeing and Airbus both know that I'm very disappointed that there is no engine competition. We feel that in the interest of a customer, there must be a proper competition in order for both engine manufacturers should know that it is not a time to relax, but it is a time to produce a product that will be acceptable to a customer, and that they have an exit in case what they expect from an engine manufacturer is not being provided. And I also feel that it is an added insurance policy for aircraft manufacturer to have a competition, because anything could go wrong at any time with engines. You already know on the C series, for example, the GTF had a problem, and that is the only engine today available for the C series. I'm just giving as an example.
Ray, can we just address the issue though of the joint negotiation? I mean, do you expect to see more of this going forward? Does it worry you? Is it a good thing? Can we just go beyond the joint negotiation?
well, to be honest, it wasn't exactly a joint negotiation, but I don't want to comment on how we negotiate with our customers. But, you know, this was something that was, from the very beginning, was something that we talked about. We were very comfortable with it. We have two great customers that are, you know, able to make these types of things work. It doesn't work in every other case, so I can tell you that. And, but, you know, in terms of details of that, no, we wouldn't get into that. But I can just, it worked out fine. It was not a difficult thing for us. I don't think it was a difficult thing for them either.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, Bhaskar, aircraft.com. Congratulations on the order. In terms of the idea of traffic rights, which Mr. Gowal brought up, you know, Europe in particular has been sometimes stringent in how they give out traffic rights to Middle Eastern carriers. If governments are
Only Germany.
If governments around the world fall prey to the protectionist tendencies that governments sometimes do, does that impact your ability to be able to take in 100 777Xs, which are, of course, a very large aircraft?
The governments you're talking about know very well that our orders from the Middle Eastern carriers is creating hundreds of thousands of jobs, both direct and in the supply chain in the aviation industry. And I think it will be very naive of them to try to impede this huge job creation opportunity with the orders that we create. And it far exceeds the job losses of us growing in somebody's market in the airlines, for example. If you just looked at the airlines of Europe, in particular 2 airlines only, that is impeding or trying to block the growth of Middle Eastern carriers, themselves are shedding jobs because their structure, their cost base is so high. And this is because of the powers the union has in imposing on those airlines. If you look at a cost per ASK of Middle Eastern carriers is half of that of the European carriers. So we should not be blamed. If anybody has to be blamed, it is their own management, administration, and of course the people that are imposing these hardships on them. There is growth, but you cannot block people's growth just because you are afraid of competition. And just for the sake of argument, if Middle Eastern carriers are blocked, we withdraw from these markets, who will fill the gap for passengers, for tourism, for the hundreds of thousands or millions of tourists that we bring into Europe? That void cannot be filled by European carriers because they have no investment in infrastructure, they have no investment in equipment. If you look at these airlines that are objecting to our growth, if you look at their average fleet age, they have not refleeted their aeroplane for donkey's years because they can't afford it because of their very high operating cost. And at the same time, if we withdraw, do you think that countries like China, India, they will open their doors to these European carriers and say, come and now fill in the gap that has been made by the Middle Eastern carriers? This will not happen. So I think it is in their own interest, in the wider interest of the country, that governments should not entertain this protectionist policy in aviation. Aviation plays a huge part in the economic growth of every country. And you can already see what economic benefit Qatar Airways is bringing to a small country like Qatar. We play a very big part, and direct and indirect contribution to the GDP of my country by Qatar Airways is nearly 11%. So you can see if it can do that to a small country, what it does to a big country like the ones that are objecting to us in Europe. Middle Eastern carriers are not going to disappear because one or two airlines are making noise and lobbying their government and trying to buy favors from politicians to support their one-sided opinion.
Another question? No? Tim, last one?
Are you satisfied with the reliability of the 787 now?
You asked me that yesterday.
No, I didn't.
And I think
Why don't I answer?
no, I
No,
think,
we're not.
I think he's trying to trap me to see if I will give him the same answer or not. Anyway, he's my friend, so it's okay. I will answer him. We are satisfied with the 787 performance. Every new program will have for the first 2-3 years, because it is still, you can test the aircraft whichever way you want when it is in test flights. But when it comes to flying as a passenger aircraft, there will be new teething problems that will arise. Now, if you talk to me if it is major or minor, I will say it is minor, expected. The same happened with 787, and the same will happen with the 350. And you can see that still there are major teething problems with the 380. So, and that is now should be a mature airplane. But this is a process that will happen, and I'm confident that by next year, all the small teething problems we have with the 787 program will be mitigated by Boeing.
We are highly committed to making that happen. Trust me.
Okay, one last one here.
Can I just ask a follow-up on the leasing? So were you saying that some of today's order could be leased out, or are those?
No. The firm orders will not be for leasing, but some of the options, the purchase rights would go into our leasing company. The aircraft that we have bought today is to replace our current 777, because Qatar Airways always likes to keep the average fleet age below 5 years. So we want to have always new, fuel-efficient, modern, state-of-the-art aircraft that is part of Qatar Airways fleet. And I think you should visit our 787 and the 320 before it flies away today.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.